The option of caring for a loved one at home has been and is becoming a much more common choice for patients and their families. Joe and Elaine Botlick are one Southland family who recently made use of the Carer Relief Service.
My name's Joseph and I married Barbara some time ago, and we've enjoyed a life together for 44 years.
I'm Elaine and I'm Barbara's daughter, and she passed away from cancer on the 26th of October. She was first diagnosed 10 years ago with breast cancer, and then again about 4 years ago with a tumour on her spine which paralysed her, and I became her caregiver.
You find yourself in an unusual situation where you are looking after Barbara in this particular case, whereas normally she looked after us. So it put us in an unusual situation, and we had to readjust all our lives to cope with it.
Until it was a learning process as we went. A lot of things weren't volunteered. We had to find out or ask lots of questions to get help. I was stubborn and didn't want her to go to hospital. I wanted her to stay at home, and I did my utmost to make sure that we kept her at home. Yeah.
And it did seem to be the best thing to do, because otherwise the whole family, as it was, thrown out of kilter, and to have her in a different place would have been very unsatisfactory. And when you're in love with someone, you want to see them all the time. Well, it was my daughter actually who rang up Kathy of the Cancer Society, and she was the one that found out that we could get assistance from them. And we were struggling along on our own and not very satisfactorily. And I'm pleased to say that we took advantage of the offer that was made, didn't we, Rain?
Yeah, as soon as Kathy made it, we took it. It was brilliant. It gave us we were getting to the point of exhaustion, being tired, and with Kathy's suggestion and Paula coming in, she gave us that rest that we needed.
In this situation where I've been looking after Barbara, Joseph was able to, if I was here during the day, which I was a few times rather than just at night, he could go out and potter in his vegetable garden and then come back in and see Barbara and then go away and do something else. And I was here to help take care of her, and I saw that as being a very special thing. And I know that for Joseph and Elaine and Barbara, it was nice for her to be able to stay at home.
Well, I feel that Barbara had confidence too, that I could speak to her, and even though she couldn't speak in return, married people have a way of knowing the answer.
Yeah, she always let you know if she was comfortable, and you had little tricks that you could do, and Paula would give her a massage, and she loved her massages, and she used to ask for Paula if she was a bit sore. Is Paula coming today? And I could, before she stopped talking, it was I could do with a massage today. So, yeah.
Actually, the massage that Paula was able to give to Barbara too was of the utmost value, because Barbara had cancer in the lung on one side, and she tended to lie on one side all the time, whereas Paula would come along and massage her and made it very, very comfortable for her. And we're very, very grateful for that.
And many thanks to Joe and Elaine for sharing their story with Barbara. If you want information about the changes that are proposed as of February next year, you can contact the Cancer Society, and they're available on 2184 or you can call in and see them at 70 Victoria Avenue. After the break, I'm joined by Kathy Hopgood, who's the Support Service Coordinator for the Cancer Society, just to recap those changes. Welcome back. Before we went to the break, we heard the story of Joe and Elaine Botlick, a local family who have used the services of Carer Relief, which is currently provided by the Cancer Society. I'm joined now by Kathy Hopgood, who's the Support Services Coordinator for the Cancer Society. Welcome along, Kathy.
Thank you.
There are some changes planned. How's it all come about?
Because last year the government made a policy decision that palliative care should be a core service, so they now fund total palliative care. Cancer Society has always provided the service because it wasn't there before, so it's now time for us to step back and for hospice to take over, which is as it should be.
We heard from Suzanne Russell, the CEO of Hospice, that there are going to be 3 levels of care. Can you tell us who's going to be providing that?
Yeah, the carer, they've decided on 3 levels. The first level is just carer relief, basic carer and that's both that and the second level, which is ENRN, but not specialist nurses. That's going to be provided by Access Home Health or Disability Resources, and they have won the contract to provide that, but it will all be coordinated from hospice.
Right.
Yeah.
So the changes are going to be implemented by 1st of February 2002.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're quite happy for people to ring the Cancer Society in the interim to get any further details about the
Definitely.
changes
Yes,
and
'cause
what's
there's-
proposed?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of confusion. People are, it's confusing, especially the rural folks. So yes, no, that's fine.
So it is going to cover the whole of Southland though?
Well, that's what the contract states, that they'll provide 7-day-a-week, 24-hour nursing, which is what we've done up to now. So.
Right. And a terrific job you've done as well. Thank you, Kathy. So the details again, if you have any queries about the provision of palliative care in Southland, you can contact the Cancer Society. Kathy would be more than happy to answer your questions. You can ring them on 2184 108 or call in and see them at 70 Victoria Avenue in Invercargill. Right, time now for a sweet treat. Scott Richardson is in the kitchen making delicious lemon cream, perfect for Christmas Day.
Back to the living room kitchen. Christmas, of course, tomorrow. We're going to do a nice dessert for you that's really quick and easy. You can make it today, being Christmas Eve, and pop it into the fridge and then pull it out and wow your guests on Christmas Day. It's called lemon cream with almond bread, and we're also going to finish it with some lemon zest. So we'll get right into it. Got a pot on the stove. What we're going to do into here is we're going to put some cream. About 450 ml of cream goes into our pot, and we're just going to warm that through. We're then going to pop in some sugar. About 110 grams of sugar goes into our cream, and what we do is we get that cream and sugar going together and getting that dissolved. So I'm just going to leave that there to do its thing quite happily. Now beside the stove here I've also got some sugar syrup on. Now what this is equal quantities of sugar and water. So I've made this ahead of time, so I've actually now got a nice syrup. Now what I'm going to do with this is to make our lemon or crystallised lemon zest. So what I've done is I've zested the lemons. This is the actual outside of the lemon rind. Now of course we're going to be using lemon juice in our lemon cream, so I'm actually making use of the fruit. So I've zested the lemon first, got the zest, and then we're going to use the juice. So this goes into our sugar syrup. We want to get those lemon pieces stirred around. Now what this is doing is coating the zest with the sugar syrup. We're going to bring that back to the heat. Then we're actually going to roll that in some caster sugar, and it's actually going to stick to the zest and give us a nice lemon zingy zang on top of our lemon cream. So we're going to leave that sitting there quite happily. Right, my sugar's dissolved in the cream. So what we want to do now, we want to actually boil that for 5 minutes. Now with sort of the powers of TV, etc., we're able to do it and get it served to you on time. But basically what we do now, once that has come to the boil, and we'll say that has come to the boil, what we do now is we add our lemon juice. Got 75 ml of lemon juice. That goes into our cream and sugar, and we stir that around. And basically you might ask, well, what happens? Well, basically the lemon juice actually helps to actually set the dessert. So what we would do now, we'd pass this through a sieve or a strainer into a clean bowl. Get rid of any lumps we might have. Then we can actually pour this into our glasses ready to actually serve for the lemon cream dessert. So I'm just going to put this aside for the moment, and we'll come back to our lemon zest and see how that's going. It's coming along quite nicely. Now what I'm also going to serve with the lemon cream is a almond bread. Now basically our almond bread is this here. Pre-made it up, but basically what we've got is we've got 2 egg whites and some sugar which are mixed together. We then have some flour and some almonds, so very simple. So you basically beat your egg whites, add in the sugar, you're making a meringue, you then fold in your flour and you fold in your almonds, you put it into a lined loaf tin, bake it for an hour. Now these recipes of course will be available from Mercury TV, so make sure you pop in there on Christmas Eve and grab it before Christmas Day so you can make it. You then cook it in the oven, you then wrap it in tin foil and you pop it into the freezer to actually firm up. It only takes around about an hour or so. Then what I've done, I've taken it out, I've sliced it, and here are my slices here, which I've then sliced very thinly, and then these go into the oven for around about 10 minutes on about 170 degrees just to finish them off and bake them off. So we've got them nice and crisp. So that's our almond bread. So we'll come back to our zest. We've got our sugar here ready to go. We'll bring our zest over onto our board, and now it's just a matter of chasing those little bits of zest around your pan. Pop them in on top of your sugar, and we'll just do a few here. Still quite hot, so use your tongs until it's cooled down. Then once they're starting to cool down a wee bit, we can get them there with our fingers and actually get it all nicely coated in the sugar. Now this will also keep in your an airtight container, and you can use it just for topping on ice cream, or if you made a nice biscuit, top it on top of the biscuit with some icing, so it keeps it really nice and fresh, and they dry out nicely as well, so you can actually leave these to sit down and they'll dry, but at the moment we'll use them in their nice fresh state. So what we do now to finish off our dessert is I've got a couple of plates here ready to go. So I'm serving the lemon cream in a nice little demi-tasse cup. Now this has been in the fridge overnight, so as you can see it's nicely set and ready to go. Now if you don't have demi-tasse cups, another thing you could do is I've just put it into a little small wine glass. So again, same sort of process. It could be sitting on your plate ready to go, but definitely the demi-tasse cups gives it a nice finish. So what we do now is we get some of our nice fresh lemon zest. It goes on top of our lemon cream, so it adds a nice bit of crunch. So we'll put it on top of here, and I'm sure Margot's going to enjoy this when she makes it for Christmas dinner. And then we go to our almond bread, and I just pop a couple of slices beside the lemon cream, and so that they can dip their bread into the lemon cream or vice versa, and we'll finish it off with some nice mint to give it that sort of festive finish and add a nice bit of greenery to our dessert. So there's our lemon cream with our almond bread and our crystallised lemon zest. Hope you have a nice Christmas day, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
And thank you, Scott. It is a delicious dish, very, very tasty. We're back after the break, where we're joined by some of the faces of Mercury, and we look at some of the Christmas highlights over the past month. Welcome back. There's been lots of Christmas events over the past month, like Christmas at the Stadium, Carols by Candlelight, the Float Parade, just to name a few. To get you into the spirit, we've compiled a special Christmas montage for you to enjoy. Well, there's Jason with his Santa hat on, looking the part. I'm joined now by a couple of the famous faces of Mercury, Melissa Chilton, news editor, and Glenn Marr. Melissa, give us your highlight for the year.
Oh, I think joining the team at Mercury would have to be well up there. I've had a good half a year here, back in what I was trained for, getting back out in the community, dealing with the community events, the issues, the people, wonderful people, and they're always so receptive and willing to be covered, share their news. Good, some of it's not so good. You've got to be balanced, but definitely those good stories and user-friendly ones are the favourites.
What about you, Glenn?
Well, I'd have to say one of the highlights has been allowed on your show, Margot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, marvellous. No, just the highlight, like shopping with Glenn, it's been a fantastic year. The support of the viewers and the people that have come on, and look, it's just been magical, and we look forward to it next year. And also the fact of the great news that you're going to be expanding the Margot family shortly.
Ah, yes, the Margot family is expanding, as I'm ever expanding. But anyway, we've got Ross on standby over there with Maria.
Well, it's been a big year, a year of change for me and a year of change for Southland as well, but I'd rank one of the top things the inner city redevelopment. I think it's been a great thing for Southland. Everybody's got a good attitude, people in Invercargill are smiling. Roll on summer, and the other highlight for the year would be watching my kids grow up.
Aww.
Is that glib? Not really.
Oh, that's so lovely.
I've realised girls when they turn 6 immediately leap forward to 20, and boys when they turn 9 and 10 leap back to a mental age of 5. Merry Christmas, everybody. How about
Doesn't change
you?
much either. Now, I think my highlight would have to be just moving here, really. It's kind of weird to think it's been 11 months already, but yeah, I'm going to enjoy Christmas and be back in February for more of Power. But back to you, Margot.
Thanks, guys. Well, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very safe and happy New Year. We are on screens, don't forget, through the Christmas period and New Year, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So on behalf of all of the team at Mercury, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
If you've been sleeping, he knows if you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Well, you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. I said, Santa Claus is coming to town, Santa Claus is coming to town, Santa Claus is coming to town.
On the living room today, we learn about the importance of cleaning out clutter. Placemakers have all the advice you need for your home decorating over the holiday season, and we visit a Riverton garden in full bloom. First up today, we're talking with Community Constable Colin Harrison. Today, Boxing Day, is the time of year when many people head away for a bit of R&R. What sorts of things should we be doing to keep our properties safe?
Well, Margot, obviously the most important thing is to have the place look lived in. And to do this, there's lots of things. One of the main things is if you've got nice lawns at the front, keep them nice and short. Get your neighbours to cut them while they're away. For those who are living alone, a good idea with a pair of shoes lying on the back doorstep,
right.
Especially men's shoes if you're a lady home alone. Leave your curtains open.
Right.
Any valuables you may have in your house, hide them away, put them in drawers. Don't leave them out where they can be seen through windows. If you've had a really good Christmas and you've got lots of presents, tuck them away, put them under the beds.
Be nothing worse than coming back from holiday to find all those Christmas presents had gone astray.
Unfortunately, it does happen too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other things in rural properties, we've been having a few problems with four-wheel drive motorbikes going missing. So if you want to hide them away, lock them up. Yeah. Other bits and pieces, garden sheds have been a problem recently. So especially lawnmowers, garden implements, lock them away. Yeah. And if you really feel the need to install a burglar alarm, go ahead. There's plenty of good companies out there that'll help out.
Now, you have actually produced a crime prevention booklet, which is available at the police station, including your office, is it, in the arcade here?
Yes.
And
And all the police stations in Invercargill.
And it outlines in here just some of the basic steps that you should be taking to protect your property over the Christmas period. If you're going away out of the province, what about car safety over that time?
If you're taking your car with you?
Yep.
Yep. Always wear your seatbelts. Make sure if you're taking a long journey, make sure your tyres are properly inflated. Don't overload your vehicle. You know, if you've got a big boat, make sure you've got the right type of vehicle to pull that boat. Make sure everybody is safely secure and keep the speed limit.
Okay. And again, not leaving valuables in public view.
Where they can be seen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, put them away, put them in the glove box, put them under the seats.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. Hey, thanks for coming in today, Colin.
You're welcome. Yeah.
And hope your New Year's not too busy for you.
I'm sure it won't be.
Well, if you're not heading away for the Christmas break, you might have some time for decorating. Leslie from Placemakers is here with all the helpful advice to get you started.
Thanks, Margot. Well, it's great to be back on this Boxing Day, and I guess you might all be sitting around feeling like a little beached whale like I am, but never mind, let's get on with it. Today I just thought we would cover some of that, some of those curly questions, and one of the most common questions I get asked when I go into people's homes is, where do I start? And it can be a real problem. People don't know whether to start with carpets or drapes or whatever. And the general rule of thumb, by the book, is you start with the horizontal surfaces, or the horizontal surfaces first. These tend to be the most expensive, so you're talking your floor coverings, or if you're doing your kitchen, your bench tops. I know drapes come in there at a very close second, because drapes have, your window furnishings have gone up incredibly in price, and they can be quite a close second. But generally we start with the floor coverings and start with the bench tops if you're doing up that kitchen. They're there for the longest time. You're not going to lay new carpet again probably for another 20 years, so you want to get it right. You want to make the right choice. You want to make the right choice in quality and in colour. So that's a good place to start, and again with your bench tops too. Just a tip here, did you realise when you buy your carpet you get that little sample, probably a metre square maybe if you're lucky, from the shop? Just bear in mind that when carpet goes down in the bigger piece, it always looks lighter. So if you want a nice punch of colour and you want something really deep, you might be best to just go to a few shades darker, because it always lightens up. Okay, the same with your vinyls, it always lightens. I remember working for a client once, and I think there was about $15,000 to $20,000 carpet involved, and the wee sample piece she had was gorgeous. The big piece actually showed a pattern and a variation in the length of pile that she never knew existed until it was down, and of course once it's down, it's too late. So we had to do the whole rest of the room to suit the carpet. Not ideal, but hey, that's just one of those unfortunate things that happens. Same with bench tops. Bench tops, you get those little tiny samples. You need to go in and have a look at the full size sheet of your Formica or whatever you're choosing to use on your bench tops, because the colour does vary. And always bear in mind, just like wallpaper and just like paint, the batch does make a difference. Not massive, but it does make a difference. So you really need to be aware of that and see that piece in the big sheet and get the full effect of all the colours that are coming into play, so that then you can choose your wall coverings, your drapes, etc. to match. And the same again would also apply for your drapes. What you see on that metre length sample in the shop can look quite different when you get the full bulk of fabric hanging, perhaps floor to ceiling. It's going to look very, very different. So you need to be aware of that. There's nothing wrong with asking for a bigger piece of carpet to take home. You're quite within your boundaries to do that. A bigger piece of vinyl, can they get you a piece? Most shops are only too happy to accommodate you in those areas, because it is a huge purchase and you do want to get it right. Like I said, it's probably for the next 15, 20, 25 years, so you need to have it working. So that's really the basic place to start. I have done jobs where people have had a beautiful painting and said, make my room work with this painting, so we start with the painting. It really varies client to client, but generally start with those horizontal, those most expensive surfaces first. Well, that's about all we've got time for, so I'll let you go back to snoozing on the couch with your big fat tummy, and we'll see you again in a fortnight. Bye.
Thanks, Leslie. Hopefully you might have got them up and moving with any luck. Right after the break, Adele's in from Young Reflections and Feng Shui expert Robin Senekal's back with us about talking about clearing clutter.
Welcome back to the living room. Boxing Day. The hustle and bustle of Christmas is gone, but no rest for us here at Mercury TV and the crew at Young Reflections. Hope you had a great Christmas day, Adele.
Yes, certainly.
Here we are with some wonderful gift ideas, or still if there's Christmas gifts to buy, or some wonderful spending ideas for the kids that perhaps got gifts of money at Christmas, because Young Reflections are open every day apart from statutory holidays at the moment.
Yes, we are.
And boy, have we got some cool stuff to talk about today.
Lots of stuff, right?
Let's start off with something for the littlies with the shape sorters.
Right, this is a nice coloured clear bucket so that the children can see when they've actually got the shape in the right hole. They know where it is. It comes with 8 different shapes and there's 3 different colours, and all they have to do is just put it in the hole. The lid's nice and secure. Also comes with a nice little handle so that they can carry it around with them.
Highly transportable.
Oh, it certainly is.
One
definitely.
of those special things to be able to take anywhere when you're keen to show off to Nana
Good in the camping ground even, to take away as a nice portable toy.
Great idea, especially for those wet days.
Exactly.
Something a little further up the scale and a little more upmarket is the VTech Smart Start, a mini computer basically.
It really is, and this is really quite something special because there's actually 24 different programs in this little computer.
All in there?
All in here. There's puzzles, there's maths, there's spelling, there's comprehension, there's vocabulary, games for them to play, strategy games. Comes with its own little mouse, just like Mum and Dad's true computer at home. Makes a noise, it talks to them, and it's very simple. They either have to fill in the missing letter or the missing word, and the computer tells them when they get it right or not.
Okay, and a wonderful excuse for Mum and Dad to keep the littlies away from the real machine.
Exactly, put them in their own room and they can play and can't damage anything.
Yeah. Hey, fascinating over the front here with the growing animals. Just add water.
You just add water. For kids that aren't allowed the animal at home to look after, all you have to do is buy one of our little grow your own animal. Now they come in your reptiles, your zoo animals, your garden animals, your snakes, your sheep, everything. Now that's the size they actually come in the packet, which is that lovely little size there. They grow 600% their size. Now when you get sick of your animal, don't need to feed it or look after it and need to change the water, they actually dry out and they shrink back down to over half their size again, so in another day the kids can try again.
Well, I wish we could all do that after Christmas Day. Do you ever get that feeling?
Exactly.
The creative mosaic, another good holiday idea, especially if you're heading out of town.
Certainly is. For the person that's creative, for the child that really likes using its hands, it's not really an outdoor type of child, they can use the mosaic. It actually comes with extra pieces that you can come in and buy, the large bead, the square beads, round beads, triangle beads, and it actually makes them use their own creativity to make their own pictures and what have you. It comes with a board inside and beads, and you can actually add to it if you want to.
Excellent, so you've got the extra bits and pieces at Young Reflections.
Definitely.
Nice, and something to finish on, excellent for the car and the camping ground or wherever you get it.
At any time, even if you're just at home and you're wanting to fill in some time. It's called the Tantrix game. It's actually a New Zealand made game by a New Zealander. It's a strategy type game, very similar to chess. It can be played either solitaire or up to 4 people, and the object of the game is it's got numbers. Each disc has got a number on the back, which is the value of the disc. Comes in 3 or 4 different colours, which is yellow, green, red and blue, and the object of the game for 4 people is that they take a colour each. There's 56 tiles and they actually have to outbeat the person, the opponent, and have the less numbers. Do it in a lower score, basically.
Something to stretch the imagination.
Exactly, yes, definitely.
And that forward thinking, and also something to practice the picking up with at the end of the day.
Exactly, and it's a portable toy as well. It comes in its own bag.
Great.
So.
Young Reflections, some great things on offer, a very, very small sample of what you've got. Open every day apart from the statutories.
Every day, yes, 8:30 until 5:30 through the week, and 9 till 4 Saturday and Sunday.
Great. Young Reflections at 49 Tay Street. Margot.
Thank you, Ross. Now, You've got some time on your hands, it might be a good opportunity to become minimalist and get rid of some clutter. Joining me now is feng shui enthusiast Robin Senekal. Welcome along, Robin.
Welcome. Hello.
Now, what exactly is clutter?
Clutter is anything that you find useless, things you don't use, things that are old, things, sorry, not things that are old, things that are not being used, broken, unfinished, things that you do not love, that's a very important thing, and things that take up too much room, like lots of objects in a small space.
Okay, well, it seems obvious the benefits of clearing out clutter, but just reiterate that for us.
Yes, well, the thing about feng shui is you want the energy to move around because moving energy is healthy energy. But if you've got all these items sitting in your home and they actually trap energy and cause stagnation of energy, then you're not allowing that energy to move freely through your home. So very often, it's very common that clutter, once it starts, it just keeps going. And it takes up space, and it actually affects your health. It'll actually make you feel tired, procrastinate, useful, many different things that could happen there.
Definitely have that problem sometimes.
Yeah.
You've got an image here which depicts rubbish as clutter, but it's not just rubbish, is it?
It's not just everything that you can see. It's things that you can't see. It could be your Christmas list in your mind, or you haven't done your Christmas shopping. That's a form of clutter.
Okay.
Letters you haven't written to friends. It could be items that you've stored in closets or drawers. That's the most common. So therefore, they're things you can't see, but they're still there. I could also include items that were gifts to you, but you don't like them, or you're not attracted to them, and the energies of those items actually make you feel either sad or angry, etc. So you really need to be careful about the gifts you receive as well from your friends and your relatives.
And not being afraid to let something go.
That's right. You need to be very brave and let it go.
Okay.
Because you need objects around you that you love and that give off that loving energy.
So what about areas in the house that can affect different aspects of your life with clutter?
If you have any understanding of the feng shui bagua, very often you place it over your house. It's like an imaginary grid with 9 spaces that you place over your house, and the main access point is laid along the front of the grid through the main door that you use for entry and exit every day on a daily basis. Now, if that was so, just as an example, the top right-hand corner of your house, as you enter the house, would be your relationship area. And the opposite to that, at the other side on the left, would be your wealth area. Now, if either of those areas are cluttered up with junk, then you will find difficulties in those areas of your life. So if your relationship area is cluttered with clothes you never wear, then there might be so much clutter in there, there's not enough room for your relationship to grow. So you need to always, the basic rule with clutter is throw a bit away, get rid of some of it, so you've got room to add new things into your life. So you keep the cycle going.
Right, so it's an ongoing process, but should you get rash and just go in and clear everything out?
Oh, you do have to take your time, and some people it could take 6 months, and there's a lot of sentimental attachment to certain items, and those are the items that you really need to say goodbye and let go to, because sometimes you could be stuck in the past if you hang on to those sort of items. But they say just start very slowly. 1 drawer will do it. Once you get 1 drawer done, sometimes you're on a roll and you'll just go crazy.
And just the satisfaction of actually starting something
and
knowing that
and finishing it.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1 drawer, it makes you feel better. And if you just think about spring cleaning, most people feel really good when they've done it. And everything you do when you're clutter clearing, you should actually do it with a lot of positivity. Try not to get too negative about it. Try and get the music going and get yourself right into it, just like a spring clean.
Okay. You mentioned the relationship area on the top right-hand side of the house. The opposite side of that, I understand, is the money area.
The money wealth side,
and quite often in Southland homes, that's a bathroom or a toilet area
yes,
or
it can
laundry.
Be. It can be. And the best idea for those situations is just to remember to keep the toilet lid down when you're not using the toilet. And if you're not using the laundry tubs, put the plugs in, because generally it's a symbolic reflection of money going down the drain. So if you leave those areas open all the time, then that's what can happen. The other thing you can do is shut the door when it's not in use.
Great. Oh, well, I hope that everybody's found something beneficial out of that. There is a book that that Robin recommends, which is Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui. It's available at bookshops. It's probably a very good starting point just to get a grasp on what is suitable to throw out and perhaps what's not.
Mhm.
Robin, thanks for coming in and talking with us today.
You're welcome.
All right, after the break, we visited a Riverton garden that has a little bit of everything. Welcome back. Today's garden profile is set close to the water in Riverton, and it's undergone a remarkable transformation.
It was the last segment of one of the shows, and Margot introed it that it was just a big 5-minute space of bleak. So as soon as Margot finished introing it, control room went live.